Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to this video on the Gemini new moon, which is happening on May the 30th. This new moon is closing out eclipse season, so it's a very significant time to really gain that clarity on what your intentions are. So we're going to dive in and take a look at these energies today from an astrological perspective, and I'll also channel guidance from the Akashic Records to support you in working with this energy in the highest timeline possible for your life and business. So if that resonates, be sure that you subscribe. I would absolutely love to support your journey. So giving a little bit of context before we dive in more specifically around what's happening with this new moon. So we are coming out of an eclipse cycle. And these eclipses this year are happening in Taurus and Scorpio, the North Node in Taurus, the South Node in Scorpio. And this really is about deep levels of transformation. It's looking at what you truly value in your life. What is your soul path, your purpose, your mission on the planet, and how you are called to transform in order to fully align with that. So we are doing some deep work here throughout eclipse season. We are doing shadow work. We are doing work around clarifying our path and really coming back to what lights you up. And there's been a lot of support over the past few months. I would really say since the beginning of this year. A lot of the cosmic energies have been about supporting you in taking a look at what it is you truly value, what it is that lights you up in your life. And then it may feel a little chaotic because it's about making the adjustments in order to align with that. But it's also a very exciting time of being able to have more clarity than ever before around what it is you really desire, what you desire to contribute to the planet, what you desire to co-create, what you desire to experience. And this new moon can bring in a lot of beautiful clarity, but even more than having the exact answers we feel we need in order to feel safe or for us to move forward. These energies are really about enjoying that journey, enjoying the unfolding, enjoying the process, and asking really powerful questions, entertaining powerful thoughts that allow us to get from where we are to where we desire to be while enjoying that creation process, while enjoying that journey. So I'm going to pull up my screen here so you can have a visual representation of these energies as well. So this is a snapshot of the sky at the time of the new moon in Gemini. It's May the 30th at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. And we have the sun and the moon over here conjunct. Anytime the sun and moon are conjunct, that of course is the signal of a new moon. And this is happening at 9 degrees in the sign of Gemini. So that's the archetypal energy we really want to gain a deeper understanding of at this time. Regardless of whether you're a Gemini or not, if you are a Gemini or you have a lot of planets in Gemini, you may relate to some of these energies a little bit more, but we are all playing with that right now. Like this is part of the frequency we are tapping into right now. So Gemini is a mutable air sign. And more than anything, when I think about Gemini, it's about keeping an open, curious mind. It's like the innocence of a child of not thinking, I have all the answers, I know everything. It's more about I'm open and willing to explore and ask the right questions. It's a deep sense of curiosity. And there's so much power when we tap into that energy in our life, when we are simply open and curious instead of attached to the stories we tell ourselves that can keep us in a pattern of suffering. And this new moon really is about looking at that. Gemini also governs the mind, the power of your mind. Every thought you have, every belief you hold has an energetic field that you are emitting out into the world. And that determines the signal you are sending out, which determines what comes back, the frequency that you are playing in. So we are really invited right now to take a deeper look at the thoughts that we are entertaining in our life, the stories we are telling ourselves about who we are, what is possible. We can't outperform our belief system. So when we learn the power of cultivating a strong belief system that is in alignment with what you desire to create, things can really build momentum in your life. Do you have the belief that you can get from where you are to where you desire? Wherever that is in any area of your life, do you believe in the power to make change? Do you believe that it is possible for you? A big message from the Akashic Records around this is the power of expanding into new possibilities, and that every new moment is that opportunity to choose something new. If you're unhappy where you are, that's okay. You get to choose again. You get to lean in and really take a look at what do you desire, what does light you up, and really learning to say yes to that. Now, Gemini is represented by the twins, which really encompasses this aspect of duality as well as connection. This is about sharing new ideas, the power of communication, the power of sharing this like fun facts, fun information that you've collected on your way. Like Geminis love to do that. They love to share just like interesting facts, interesting things they've read about, and then they want to pick your brain as well. They want to ask you questions. So there is that fun energy, but the duality as well is about looking at those parts of you, those different aspects of your personality that at times may feel like they're contradicting one another. Can you explore that? Can you love all aspects of who you are? Can you embrace the contrast and duality? The idea that there is at any moment so much to be grateful for, and at the same time there may be obstacles and challenges, and can you be okay with that, and can you find the blessing within all of it, how it's all adding up for you? It's all supporting your growth and evolution and expansion. And when you begin to see things that way, you show up differently in your life. We can get very caught up around the labels of, is this good? Is this bad? And sometimes when we're looking at astrology, this can come up as well of, oh my goodness, okay, this aspect is happening. What does that mean? Is that good? And it's really not about whether it's good or bad. It's all about how you co-create with that energy. And that same thing can really be said for what is unfolding in your life. Are you labeling things as good or bad? Or are you saying, they're all opportunities for my growth and expansion. And yes, there's certain things you prefer, and you get to decide that, you get to choose that, and you get to align more deeply with that energy. But the more that we can be aware of how we are labeling things in those stories, the more power we have. Yeah, there's so much more I feel flowing in around this, but we'll continue. We'll continue looking at some of these aspects and maybe circle around to this idea of holding the contrast, holding the duality, being more aware of the stories we are entertaining, the thoughts that we are entertaining. So one of the main aspects, really the only aspect this new moon energy is making, is a sextile with Mars and Jupiter. So a sextile is when planets are 60 degrees apart or within an 8-degree orb. So this is not an exact sextile, but it's within that orb, that range, that I definitely consider these energies at play with this new moon. So Jupiter and Mars in the sign of Aries, this is really an empowering energy. Aries is a fire sign that is all about the self. And when Jupiter is in Aries, this is about cultivating a deep belief in yourself and your ability to create expansion and growth in your world. And Mars is also about forward momentum, and it is right at home in the sign of Aries. So when these energies team up, we are definitely feeling that excitement build, the momentum building. This, there is a lot of energy being cultivated here that we feel ready to express in our life. Now, a big message I'm hearing from the Akashic Records around how this is playing out is having the courage to start. So there may be something you have been talking about in your life or business that you really want to create, that you really want to do. Maybe this is a project in your business, a program that you want to launch, and you keep holding off, saying it's not the right time. This is not the right time. It's not perfect yet. I can't release it. This energy is really inviting you to look at, well, when is the right time? Because all our power is in the now. When is the right time? And yes, there is something so sacred and special about divine timing and not pushing against things, not jumping in before we're ready. But honestly, we often create these stories that we're not yet ready, that it's not yet perfect, instead of riding the momentum and learning as we go and recognizing that as we have the courage to take action, we gain more information. So this really is looking at where in your life are you holding back because you feel it's not yet perfect, you don't yet know enough, you don't have enough information yet, you aren't qualified enough yet, and how can you instead say, what if I am ready? And this isn't about doing or teaching things that you don't feel qualified to do. It's about giving yourself credit for the knowledge you do have, the wisdom you do have, whether from training or your life experience. You know so much. You hold within you codes of wisdom and healing that can transform your client's life, that can transform this planet. But you have to own that. You have to believe that. And this can really begin to give you confidence in that. Jupiter and Mars conjunct in Aries. Like, this is about, it is time to believe in myself. It's time to stop holding back and telling stories that I'm not yet good enough, I'm not powerful enough, I'm not ready, and lean in. Lean in and the answers will be provided. Sometimes we get in this energy of like, asking the universe to give us all these signs. And sometimes the universe is waiting on us to say, I'm doing my part. I'm showing up. I'm leaning in. And when we go first, then cosmic forces can get behind us and propel us forward. But if we are telling stories that we're not ready, then that's going to be the reality. So it's time to really take a look at, you are powerful. The world needs your gifts, and whatever that next expansion is for you. Maybe you are very visible and you are showing up. You are sharing your gifts with the planet, but there's a new edge that you are invited to lean into, a new level of visibility, a new level of being seen, a new level of speaking your truth. It is time to lean into that. Now, with this sextile with the new moon, this also suggests that there can be new information that's coming in for you with this new moon energy. So it may be, well, what I'm really getting from the records here is that many of us in different ways are facing some big decisions in our life right now and looking at, what path do I go? What do I decide to do? And we can get more information and divine downloads on this at this time. This could be a person that comes into our life that gives us new information that empowers us to make a decision. This could also be divine downloads from your spirit team and guides that really help you get clarity on that decision, on that next path for you. What is right for you? What is aligned for you? But there's definitely this energy around new information is coming in, and Gemini really embodies that, right? It is about communication, knowledge, information, and Mars and Jupiter here. So this can also be seen as well as like, let's take what we know, let's take our knowledge and let's actually apply it. Let's move forward with it, especially with Aries being that cardinal energy of let's apply what we know. It's no sense of just having all this knowledge if we don't actually integrate it and apply it in our life. That's where the transformation comes in. Now, the ruler of this new moon is Mercury. We have Mercury over here retrograding in the sign of Taurus, and Mercury is making lots of aspects. So when I talk about aspects, this is basically the relationship between the planets. So we're going to take a look at this, but overall, Mercury in the sign of Taurus retrograding is that invitation once again to come back to what your soul calling is, what your soul truth is. And, some of us know right away, it's like we know our purpose on the planet. Other people know they have a really big, powerful purpose, a reason for incarnating, but they don't necessarily have the clarity around it. So if that is you, this can be an opportunity to really lean in and ask, what lights me up? What do I love to do? Like following that spark of joy, that'll lead you to your path and purpose. And ultimately, for all of us, a big part of our purpose here is to enjoy the human experience, to enjoy the process of being here in human form, yet connected with infinite intelligence, able to take creations from the energetic into the physical. And that's why it really is about enjoying the journey. This new moon really captures that as well. It's like, hey, where are you going? Where are you in a rush to get? Enjoy where you are. Really big message. Enjoy where you are. There is beauty, there is love, there is abundance. What you desire can be found in this moment. Claim it. From there, it doesn't mean that you can't make changes in your life, but stop thinking that joy and abundance and excitement, adventure, freedom is something that's outside of you, and start practicing generating that within you and moving from that space. So the first aspect I want to look at here is we have Mercury forming a trine over here with Pluto. This is powerful. So a trine is a 120-degree angle in astrology. It's a harmonious aspect. So this is about, I really feel this speaks to the eclipse energies as well, how throughout eclipse season, we have this ability to dive more deeply into our subconscious programming and really see what's at play there. Our subconscious accounts for so much in terms of how we feel, the decisions we make, the patterns we find ourselves in. A big link to the subconscious. There's many ways to explore it, but it's often expressed through our body, how our body's responding to things, right? That can often be a subconscious program that's at place when we have that exciting feeling, when we have that nervous feeling, when we have that feeling of expansion or contraction. Our body holds so much wisdom that's very linked to those subconscious programs. And I feel this trine here is like, it's a reminder from the universe that you have been gaining more clarity around what those subconscious patterns are for you. And with awareness, you can choose again. We're only stuck in those old patterns and cycles when we are not aware that it's happening. With awareness, we come back into the moment, we come back into our power, and we have a choice. We have a choice. Do we listen to those old beliefs? Do we continue in the same habits as the past, or do we work on creating something new? And from there, of course, it is the reprogramming. So awareness kind of sets us free from that trap or cycle of the past, but then it is about reprogramming. What am I now choosing to believe? So what do you choose to believe about yourself when it comes to money? Do you choose to believe it can flow into your life with ease, that you have the ability to do what you love on the planet and receive abundantly for it? All these different areas of your life, begin to explore what those beliefs are, what those programs are. But again, this is very harmonious. So I feel this is like a sense of empowerment. We feel more in our power, our creative power, and we know we have the ability to make changes if we aren't happy with something in our life. Now, Mercury is forming a square over here with Saturn in the sign of Aquarius. Anytime Saturn comes in, there is this element of there's going to be some work. So what I feel around this is we are gaining more information. We're making some big decisions. And yet it's still kind of the beginning of the path in many ways. It's like, and again, it's always an ongoing journey. But Saturn really does suggest here that we are building a strong foundation, and some of the things that we have in motion, it's going to be the beginning of something really big. So it's like, it doesn't have to come together overnight. It doesn't have to come together in the next few months, but it is time to take the next steps toward what you desire so that process can get into motion here. Mercury is also in aspect with Neptune here, and I really love this. So this is really that confirmation that your spirit team, your angels, your higher self, the ascendant masters, your divine guides, your loved ones, they are sending you signs. And there's something very intuitive about this too. Neptune is about transcendence, higher realms of consciousness. So really trusting that intuitive process. When you ask a question, that means there is an answer available, but the answer to the question is a different vibration and frequency than the question itself. I talk about this a lot in my Akashic certification. We really work with the power of what's active in our energy field. What are the questions we are asking of our records? Are we a match to them receiving? Because asking the question is one vibration, receiving it is the ability to be in a very receptive space where we're a match to the answer we are seeking, basically, where we are not so entrenched in the problem that we can't see the solution that is also right there and available for us. But this energy is opening up to that. It's a very hopeful new moon. Like, we're feeling empowered, we're feeling hopeful, we're receiving guidance, we are ready to go, we trust we are on track. And again, be aware if you're falling into that trap of like, but I'm not at my final destination yet, so I can't yet enjoy it, because that is a trap. You have to enjoy where you are, right? One of the spiritual teachers I always love to listen to is Abraham Hicks, and she'll talk about we can't have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. Like, those just don't equate, right? We have to enjoy each step of the way. we're invited to and we get to. And I think this new moon really is a positive boost of energy that reminds us of that we do get to enjoy the process. Now, I also just want to take a look at Venus here in the sign of Taurus, because it's right at home in this sign. Even though it's not directly interacting with this new moon, I feel it's very significant all the same. And it really fits into the message I'm receiving from the records around coming back to your soul path, your soul truth, coming back to what fully lights you up. Venus in the sign of Taurus is all about that. It's like, come back to the wisdom of your body. Come back to your truth. Come back to celebrating those simple pleasures of daily life that we can overlook when we get very busy, when we get too caught up in our mind, when we get too caught up in the rat race, when we are trying to figure it all out and somehow withholding joy from ourselves. It's like, come back and realize that joy is here now. I know I've said this, but it really feels important to lean into. Joy is available for you in this moment. Abundance is available for you in this moment. Practice claiming that. Practice being one with that frequency, alignment. Practice knowing that so deeply that it becomes active in your field. It becomes a part of who you are. Now, we also have Mercury conjunct the North Node here in the sign of Taurus. Mercury really is active. And again, the reason I'm really honing in on Mercury is the ruler of this new moon because it rules over Gemini. So the aspects that it's making are very significant in the overall energies that are going to be a part of the new moon. So next to the North Node, this really suggests that you ultimately are focused on moving forward. You are focused on where you are going. You are focused on the future. This new moon really isn't about spending too much time looking at the past. Even though Mercury is retrograde, we may be revisiting old information, seeing it in a new way, making a decision that moves us forward. But overall, we are really focused on where we are now going, integrating the lessons of the past, integrating the blessings of the past, like really allowing ourselves to feel grateful for what is working, and then looking at where we desire to go. So those are the main energies here. I'm going to stop the screen share. Overall, very uplifting, very hopeful, new ideas flowing in, new information coming in that can help us make some big decisions in our life. And we may even be, again, revisiting some old topics, some things that may feel like we haven't quite tied it up. There's some loose ends we need to tie up. We may be revisiting some of that, but with new eyes, new awareness, a new perspective. Other message that I'm feeling from the Akashic Records is around looking at where you have really boxed yourself in through your belief system and your way of seeing the world, and use this energy to create more spaciousness. By being willing to see things in a new light, being able to entertain a new story, that will really set you free. We can be caught in this prison of our own mind that is based on beliefs and stories that are actually not aligned with what our higher self knows. And we set ourselves free when we begin to question our beliefs, when we begin to question our thoughts, instead of seeing them as absolute truth. We're really able to take a look and say, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's a thought that I can entertain or not. And if it's not serving you, you don't have to entertain it. You can let it go. And that's what I think is great about the Gemini energy, a mutable air sign. It is very much like go with the flow. It is very much about creating that joy and that spaciousness and cultivating that sense of curiosity. If you don't know how to, maybe, I know I say this a lot, we can get from where we are in our life to where we desire. And our mind can sometimes say, I want to know how, in order for me to feel safe, in order for me to really trust that I can get through this challenging time, that I can create expansion, that things can change. I need to know the how in order to be safe in that. That's really not how it works. We don't need to know the how. Our ego wants to know the how, but it's like, can you be safe in the space of the unknown? Can you be safe not knowing all the answers? And can you practice asking powerful questions of yourself and other people that can guide you each and every step of the way? This new moon, it really is about that openness. It's like, I don't need all the answers, but am I asking the powerful questions? Am I integrating the new information that's coming in? Am I enjoying the journey? So let me know below, what are your new moon intentions? I would love to hold space for you and to bring that into my new moon ritual as well, just to support you in your creation process. And I'll also attach a link below to the Divine Creators Inner Circle. So in this space, we do new and full moon ceremonies, which are very powerful. They involve opening and accessing your Akashic records. I channel clearings and activations in that space that can really, really support you in aligning to the highest timeline for your life, for your business. It's such a fun space. There's incredible light workers and healers in that space as well. I'll also attach my Instagram below. I share lots of reels throughout the week on there, cosmic guidance, tips for you if you're a spiritual entrepreneur and how you can grow your business. So activating new levels of wealth, amplifying your impact by co-creating with cosmic intelligence. So feel free to check that out as well. So much love to you. Enjoy this beautiful energy, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.